So I poured down my face as I clenched the steering wheel. Street lamps rhythmically illuminated the car as I made my way home. My mind everywhere at once as I felt on the verge of a panic attack. The closer I got to my house, the more I felt the anxiety build and begged for release. It was the longest ride home ever. As I decided what to do from here on, I recanted the night's previous events. I worked at a bar, so I got off at 9 usually. Not closing time but late enough to be always be on edge as I exited through the side alleyway. This fear was heightened when I stepped out this night and noticed an unknown car waiting at the other end of the alley, blocking the exit to the street. Memories of my past immediately came to light. 5 years ago, I used to work for some bad people, and I had tipped off the police in order to avoid a more critical sentence. Since then, I had been clean but always keeping an watchful eyes out for trouble. 5 years later, my reckoning was finally coming. My hand ready at my gun holster, I casually walked towards the exit and then two figures stepped from the shadows. They gasped at me and one of them managed to get a bag over my head and reflexively I fired off my gun multiple times. I felt the weight of one of them slump against me and took off my cloth bag. The second assailant lay silently not far away. I had survived, but what now? Knowing the people I had worked for, they would also have someone looking for me at home. Oh God, they could have Julie. I had to check to make sure she was okay. I almost ran to my car and immediately decided against it. Taking their car was best. They would think I was the kidnappers. I dragged their bodies to the car and put them into the trunk. I couldn't call the police. They would never believe me. I would just be labeled somebody who just waited for the night time to get back in the game of bad business. My bosses were probably just waiting until things calmed down when I wasn't expecting anything. I hopped into the car and made my way home, trying to stay at the speed limit as best as possible. I called Julie's phone, but no answer. It went straight to voicemail. No, I said under my breath, trying multiple times. Finally, I made it to my block and parked 2 houses over. Unsettling was the scene of my house, as my wife's car wasn't there, nor were any of the lights on. This was very unusual, as our street's lighting was not very good and we always kept at least 2 lights in the home, plus it had a vague appearance that someone might be home. To see if I could stir up any movement, I knocked on the door, then crouched down and put my ear to it. Maybe it was my imagination, but I thought I could hear faint voices. I decided going around back was the best way to go. So I made my way around and silently unlocked the door and crept in. From the den I could hear someone muffled shuffling and waiting for a moment for my eye to adjust. I found someone in front of me. I grabbed them around the neck and put the muzzle of my gun to their head. "Where are you keeping her, you son of a—" Suddenly, the lights flicked on in the den. The words cut off as I witnessed a group of all my friends together in the den. It was obvious they expected me to come in from the main entrance, and in their confusion turned to greet me. My eyes widened in horror, and they gasped at the sight of me holding a gun up to my friend's head. "Holy crap, John, what are you doing?" my friend said, and I let go, still taken aback by everything. "John, are you okay?" my next door neighbor said. "You look like you have seen a ghost." I put my gun down gently and started laughing hysterically. Here I was, thinking I was going to get assassinated, and it was a surprise party. The fact that it was my birthday never even occurred to me. "Oh my God, you guys scared the bejesus out of me," I said. You wouldn't believe the night I've had so far. I felt giddy from so much relief. We chatted for a second and I apologized for being so jumpy. Yeah, you scared us too there, buddy, said Annie, my wife's best friend. Especially 'cause we didn't see Ryan's car. Ryan's car? Don't you mean my car? Well, no, maybe they changed their mind about doing it last minute, but last I heard, Ryan and Julie were going to kidnap you as a joke after you got out of work. Have you heard from them? Suddenly, I felt the sickest I've ever felt in my entire life.